Hey, this is Edwin Culver at Making an Impact, owner of Foxhound Advertising. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 5 inbound marketing tips for B2B sellers to get more leads and sales. Specifically, we're talking about inbound marketing B2B strategy. And if you're running into, issues like B2B is different than B2C. We're struggling to reach our customers, to reach our ideal clients. Things just have longer sales cycles. We have to deal with decision makers and getting through gatekeepers. Or if you're just kind of overwhelmed from all of the different things that you can try, it's all just really time consuming, and you're not seeing an ROI from your B2B outreach efforts, your B2B marketing efforts. If it's just tough to even find your ideal customer, to find your audience and how to, speak to them and get them to come in inbound towards you. Or if at the end of the day, you're getting some leads and things like that, but you just find that you're not getting high enough quality leads. They're tire kickers. They're not the decision makers, et cetera, et cetera. This video is going to be for you because we're going to be talking all about inbound marketing B2B strategy and actually getting those folks who want to work with you and who are chasing you down. Also, in a minute, I'm going to actually show you how you can generate your own inbound B2B leads totally for free using the power of Google without having to pay for Google ads and without having to do like SEO and waiting 6 months for results or anything like that. But first, we got to go through, inbound marketing strategy, right? And so we're going to go through the 5 tips today. What I want you to do is take out a notebook, watch this video all the way through, take notes in your notebook, and at the end of the video, circle one thing you can implement today, one action you can take today to start moving the needle forward. Because if you start taking action, that's going to start compounding on it. 10, 15 minutes you watch this video is going to be worthless if you spend all that time, but you never actually implement anything that we talk about today. So make sure you circle that, add it to the comments at the end of the video so that we know what your action step is, and, we can keep each other accountable and actually get things done and move the needle. Number one, for your inbound marketing strategy to work, number one big thing that I see folks missing out on is creating what I call an irresistible call to action. So a lot of businesses tend to just, kind of be very boilerplate, like, book a call is their call to action, right? And like, that's what you want people to do, but you need to do something to make it more irresistible, right? And so this is strategy number one, irresistible call to action. Another one, people say like, download this ebook or things like that. Those can work. Those are all fine. Those can work. But you really want to dial in what is the specific pain point, and then what's the specific solution that you have that's unique, right? So if you can add in uniqueness, what's unique about your company into this call to action, it'll really, really help. So what we found, like one that really serves people a lot is, we're in like the digital marketing agency space, right? And everybody knows that, okay, it's probably going to be high ticket. They're probably going to, charge, several $1,000 retainers, et cetera, et cetera. And they just want to know what the price is. They just want to know, like, is it even going to make sense to work with us? So oftentimes one of our call to actions we use at the end of our lead magnets or like video sales letters and things like that, we don't just say like, hey, book a free consultation, because everybody knows that means it's a sales call. What we tell people on our end is go get a free immediate price estimate. And so free price estimate. And, this is just using like a JOT form and, 15, 20 question application process. So we're collecting all sorts of information on the prospect, but then we just got some logic, built in, like, a few different price points and things like that. And, I'll tell people like, yeah, this is probably, none of this is going to work. We recommend our little $997, $1,000 course or whatever. Start there. Okay. For you, it's probably going to be in the range of $3,000 to $5,000, et cetera, et cetera. And, it's just, it's funny. Everybody likes this. They click on it and they go and they're like, yes, that's irresistible. Like, I just want to know the price. I'm interested in your services. Your lead magnet or your video sales letter has done a good job nurturing me up to this point. I want to take the next step, but I don't want to have to waste, 4 to 5, 10 calls back and forth, getting estimates and things like that. Obviously, this might not be the specific one for your company. If you need to have, several consultations to really create a proposal and things like that, totally understand, because in the world of B2B, you're talking about a much larger animal, more decision makers involved, things like that. You might need to find something different that makes sense. But what is the unique thing that your company can do that nobody else is doing, that kind of speaks through to the marketplace and gets them, actually taking action on the thing you want them to do. And it could be just literally just, renaming this. Instead of it's a consultation call, it's a collaboration call or something like that. Do something though to make this different, unique, and if you can make it irresistible. Another thing we've got is oftentimes we're able to literally offer free vacations to people for booking things and becoming clients and things like that. We've got relationships with folks in the hotel industry, and they got these hotels out in Las Vegas and Cancun and things like that, 5-star hotels. But if they just don't have any bookings, they're having to deal with taxes and stuff, and so they're basically giving away the hotel rooms for free, and then we're able to give those away for free as well. And so if you can add bonuses, a lot of times we'll tell folks hey, if you book a call with us, you're going to get this free class, this free course, this free thing. So we just really value stack the call to action itself, the business consultation call, the sales call. We make sure that they're going to get a ton of value, whether or not they even show up to the call, whether or not we actually sell them something on the call, and that obviously just increases your conversion there. So it's kind of if you're not doing that, there's no excuse not to do it. Spend the 5 to 10 minutes thinking what bonuses could I include for people who actually do take the next step with us, do follow our call to action. How can we rename it to make it irresistible? And how can we make it really, immediately solve the problem they're looking to solve, so we can drive that traffic there. Number 2 is your email, right? Okay, so now you got people, coming on your list, but the number 2 strategy I find that is really lacking in a lot of B2B companies is their email strategy. Oftentimes their emails are way too businessy and newslettery, and there's 50,000 different links and things they can click, and they're you can't tell is this meant to be a branding email? Is this meant to be a newsletter? Are you trying to drive people? I would just say, if you're not sure what to do with your emails, if you're sending emails already, but if they look like a really stereotypical corporate newsletter thing, if they look boring, odds are people are perceiving them as boring. And if it's just not performing how you would like, you want to simplify it. And you can still, keep your personal brand integrity there. You can still make it witty and fun and exciting if that's the direction you're wanting to go, or you can keep it very calculated, sterile if that's the brand you're wanting to go. Totally fine. But what we find is that if it's really just overly corporate, if it's overly complicated, if there's a lot of different links for them to click and go to places and everything like that, a confused mind does not take action, right? And a confused mind does not, take your CTA, your irresistible CTA. So what I generally recommend folks do is clean up your emails and simplify them using a really simple 3-step structure, which if you've seen any of my other videos, I just rant and rave about this. All you got to do is figure out one problem to solve in the email. It could be a very little problem. What's the solution that goes with that problem? And then tack on your irresistible call to action. That's all you got to do in your emails. And this will probably either shorten them up so people actually read them and read them all the way and click on your call to action. And if you've done a good job making it irresistible, that's going to improve that click-through rate. But this over here is going to help you simplify your email writing process. So if you can just come up with 10 problems real quickly, grab a napkin right now and just come up with what's 10 problems we can help people with a really short email, and then what are the solutions that go with it. Boom, you got your first 10 emails written and you're off to the races, and you can start doing that, maximize it. You can 52, 365 emails, and suddenly you've turned this into a beast of a marketing machine, bringing people inbound to you, getting on your calendar. HubSpot, they found, last year going into 2023, the companies clear across the board on average, when they spent $1 on email marketing, they made $36 back. So if you're not making $36 back from your email marketing for every dollar you've spent writing your emails, now here's your way out. Okay, 10, 52, 365 problem solution emails, super simple. If you get those done, you can go and hire someone later to make them, fancy and add story and metaphor and, polish them up with your brand personality, everything like that. But if you're not making money from your email right now, go and, put the time into it. Doesn't take much time because you use a super simple framework there and get that done. Strategy number 3, or I should say tip number 3, is go and amplify all of this with really, really, really simple Facebook ads. All right. So you want to start growing this email list. You've got an irresistible call to action. People are loving it. You just need more people taking it. Right. And so you got to grow the email list. And if you just want an easy button, go use paid ads. Right. Google PPC. What's nice about Google PPC, they found that for every $1 people spend, on average, they turn it into $2. That's nice. The problem is they're turning it into $2 by taking people straight to the call to action, straight to the, hey, book now, give us a call, etc. That's fine and dandy. That's great. But if you're like in B2B, you probably not so much doing like an emergency type. You're not a fire, water, mold restoration company that, the person's basement just flooded and they need to talk with someone now, right? You're probably going to have a longer sales cycle. So if you can instead have your Google ads pointing people to your lead magnet with your irresistible call to action, boom, and you've got a really beefed up email system that's sending out lots of these emails all the time, boom, you're getting that done. And you're going to go from spending $1 on Google ads to you'll spend your dollar on Google ads, you'll get people on your email list, spend your $1 over here and turn that into $36 down the road. If you just stick with it and keep it really simple and executable, because simple is executable, simple is trackable, and simple gets results. The other platform I'd recommend too for B2B that a lot of people, at first are like, no, my audience, they're not on Facebook, but Facebook ads, they're so cheap in terms of cost per impressions that, you definitely want to use them because you can get people on your list very quickly. And cheap doesn't necessarily mean low quality. There's ways around this. I love this tactic that Gary Vee talked about on Facebook. Call out the job title that you're wanting to target, right? But don't put the ad in front of them. Put it in front of the person above them. So let's say you're wanting to target CMOs, right? So all you got to do here in your Facebook ad is just type in as your headline, does your CMO know this? And whatever this is, your lead magnet or your video or whatever, the thing with your irresistible call to action on it. And that's all you got to do. And so now the guy above the CMO is going to see that and be like, hey, John, check this out. And he's going to share it to him. He's going to be like, make sure you go watch this. Give me a report on it, et cetera, et cetera. And so I really love that tactic because the power of Facebook is the algorithm is so good now. And Facebook has simplified their advertising platform that it does the work for you, and you can let the copy actually call the people out and attract them. And as the copy attracts the right people, then the algorithm pumps in, is like, oh, now we see what kind of people are clicking on your copy. We're going to put it in front of those guys some more. So as it starts to see that like the C levels who are above the CMO, as those C levels keep clicking on this thing and sharing it and stuff, now Facebook's gonna be like, oh, that's the people we need to start putting that in front of, and it'll help you there. And it's cheaper than LinkedIn. It's cheaper than LinkedIn ads. You're like, yes, your audience is on LinkedIn. That's great. But if you're needing to start kind of from, stair step up, I would recommend actually start with Facebook ads, because the same people who are on LinkedIn are actually on Facebook. Facebook's a much bigger platform in terms of user base, and they're there. You just have to, figure out how to flip that equation and communicate with them and reach them there. And then obviously, add LinkedIn ads, because now you can just, call people out directly, or you can use the exact same strategy. Does your CMO know this? And get it from the top down, pushing down like that and getting people to opt in to your list that direction. So that's like the real fast, easy, simple way to, hit a button and amplify. Tip number 4, though, if you're going to do any of these things, you're gonna do any of these things, is retarget. Make sure that you are getting your money's worth here, right? We've all heard the tried and true, like it takes 7 to 12 impressions before someone actually takes an action on what you do. So make sure you retarget. And part of retargeting, you just run your ad back at this person or use your pixel, anybody who landed on the landing page from your Google ads. Make sure you start retargeting them on Facebook, retarget them on LinkedIn, all your other platforms, like Twitter. If you've got those going, if you're a smaller firm, or if you're kind of like a one-man email market or one-man marketing team or something like that, I wouldn't worry about all those other things. Just master one of these platforms first and do all of your retargeting there. So like master Google, and try to maybe expand and do your retargeting on Facebook, and just keep it to that 1 to 2 platforms at most. But if you got plenty of people on your team, definitely retarget on all the channels, right? Use that whole omnipresent strategy, because you've spent money to get to the first impression, and this person's interested. They wouldn't have either clicked or done whatever on your initial ad. Much better to go put some money towards reaching those folks some more. And as you're retargeting, just make sure you refresh. Now, what I mean by refresh is refresh your content, and it doesn't have to be crazy. Whatever your ad says, whatever the content of your ad says, is probably using this framework, right? If you're struggling with problem, here's the solution. By the way, go download our thing, or watch our video to learn more about how we can help you. That's what your ad is saying. Then to make sure that people aren't getting ad blind to it, all you got to do is refresh the creative, refresh the picture, refresh the video, go take the text and copy and paste the copy into like ChatGPT or something and tell it to rewrite it in a way that's witty and funny, right? You just keep the same, bullet points, the same problem solutions going on in your ads, but all you do is change the images, change the the language just a little bit, and that'll be enough to avoid that like ad blindness, and instead make people, instead of people complaining like, these guys are following me everywhere, it's always the same ad, and this picture always is popping up, I'm so sick of this. It's going to be like, man, these guys are everywhere, they're all over the place, they're writing content, they must be a really official company and really doing big things, because it looks like you're doing a lot, when in reality you're just refreshing the pictures and things like that. So that's number 4, just make sure you're retargeting everybody. And then number 5, biggest tip I noticed that folks, it's like they start off here, and then once they start doing this stuff, they stop doing this really, really simple thing, which is asking for referrals. So most B2B companies I talk with, they were built on referrals. They started because of referrals. Then, they were like, okay, this is great, but I can't scale on referrals alone. And so they do something like this. They build an inbound marketing funnel strategy, which is really working really great. And, it's awesome to be able to put money in and get a return on, ad spend or a return on investment afterwards. And they start to let this fall by the wayside. So what you want to make sure you do is systemize your referrals process. Make it part of your sales cycle. Make it part of your contracts. Make it part of your offers. Make it part of doing business with you. Make it part of your actual sales, like I said, your sales process. So even if you hop on a sales call with someone that you find is not like an ideal prospect, or they're not qualified, or they're not a decision maker, end those conversations still by asking like, who else would you recommend I talk to about our solutions? And you may not close a sale, but make sure you close them on handing you 3 referrals right then and there, and get you connected with folks. Same thing with, anytime you get a new client, coming on board, let them know like, hey, part of how we do business is we offer, XYZ discount, or we do this, we give this bonus for anybody who refers other clients to us. Who else do you think that we should talk to about this solution? And then same thing after you've done the work with them, 30, 60, 90-day follow-up. Make sure you're following up, making sure they're happy. If they're happy, great. Who else do you think we should, talk to about our solution here? And it's just, make sure you have like, those are 3 really easy ways you can go and make sure your referrals system is systemized, right? Number 1, anybody you hop on a sales call with, if at the worst case scenario they don't buy anything from you, make sure you get some referrals. Number two, as soon as someone signs up as a new client, make sure you're getting referrals. And then number three, as soon as someone's gotten results, 30, 60, 90 days down the road or a year, whatever it is, make sure you're following up and asking for those referrals. And this is really how you can strategically beef up all of your B2B marketing and getting more folks actually coming in, inbound, warm, pre-sold, everything like that. Now, like I said, there is also a way to actually start generating free traffic. I have put together a free 10-part course, how to end the feast or famine customer acquisition trap once and for all. I'll put the link down in the comments below. Go ahead and grab it there, sign up for that over the next 10 days. I'll send you a daily training. Each one's a different training, specifically on how to, get more customers and increase sales, get more clients, everything like that. Along with that, though, I'm also going to include the training specifically on how to get this free Google traffic, because like the Google ads are awesome, except you have to, spend money and pay for clicks. And there's a little known part of Google that's newer, that you don't actually have to pay for clicks, but you're right up there, right with the Google ads on the front page, ranking on the top of Google. It's not SEO. It doesn't take 6 months, if you're writing these crazy long blog articles and, dealing with just all that, crud, just to maybe see results 6 months later. It actually works, almost instantaneously. So anyways, I'll put that training as well in here for you. I'll put the link below. Go ahead and grab that. Make sure you hit the bell and subscribe, and look at your notebook right now. What action step can you take today? So, circle one, put it in the comments. Let us know in the comments below what your action step is going to be, so that we can keep each other accountable, build a community here, and actually get things done. Take that next step and get the compound effect working for all of us. We'll see you on the next video. I think the next video I'm doing is best B2B inbound marketing to use as a SaaS startup. So specifically for SaaS startups. I'll see you in that video. As always, keep up the great work and stay awesome.